This is EA Sports coverage of the PGA Tour. Today it's live opening round coverage of the California Classic. Picking him up live now at the 10th. Been a steady performance so far early in this first round, but at some point, Frank, they need to take steady to spectacular.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Rich, and really sooner rather than later, that's for sure. But, yeah, steady becomes boring if it stays on for too long.
So, Frank, we know that the players petitioned back in the 80s to move the PGA Tour event away from PGA West. It's coming back in 2016. But what did Pete Dye say about golf courses being fair or unfair?
Well, he said it actually, he tried to say it with a chuckle, but he always said that golf's not a fair game, so why build a golf course that's fair?
Do you agree with that?
I do now. I think everything has to align itself together. When you looked at the equipment that the players were using, wooden drivers and balls that spun around, they had trouble on windy days. And these golf courses, they really were brutal. But I think now that the ball goes further, the introduction of the metal-headed driver, the utility clubs, all of those things have made these golf courses really come back into favour again. Look at what Jason Day did in 2015 at the PGA Championship at Whistling Straits on a Pete Dye golf course. That's how you have to play the game now. We have to embrace change.
How difficult is this golf course at PGA West? Well, it was ranked 8th on this year's Golf Digest, America's 20 toughest golf courses. Well, we've arrived at our third par 5 of the day here at PGA West. It is the 11th. It is nicknamed, appropriately, Eternity, 617 yards. Oh, this looks good.
Certainly is.
I love that rhythm and tempo right there. He has given this one the full treatment. Perfect release through the ball. And this shot is on the fairway, over 300 yards.
Tom Weiskopf was one of my idols growing up. I loved the way he swung. That swing right there reminds me of my idol.
It looks like Rory McIlroy, Frank, sticking the follow-through. Frank couldn't ask for anything more.
Just the lie there, too. It is sitting up like it's teed up.
Good swing, good shot yet again. Wow, Frank, he is dialed in.
Yeah, that was just some shot on that. Easy birdie.
Settles in over the putt. Impressive. Moves to 3 under for the tournament with that birdie. Frank, now another clever, small par 4, only 363 yards here at the 12th.
Couple of different options here, Rich. You can lay it up just short of where that nose of the bunker starts to poke out on the right side of the fairway. then you're going to be left with something in the sort of 140, 150 yard mark to the flag. Or if you want to get a little sort of greedy, you start to sneak it up there where it gets narrow. It's shorter. It requires a better shot.
Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
Wow, what a shot. Doesn't even need the putt. And now we're at the par 3, 13th hole, 214 yards.
Hazard?
Maybe wet. Wow, lucky break right there, Frank.
Well, that's what everyone else is going to say, except him. Really. This is an awkward length. Now, just when you thought they might pick up one, now settle for a par.
Just 5 feet left. Wow, I thought he made that. Boy, that hurts right there, Frank.
Yeah, he's got to knuckle down now, though, because, you know, we've seen it before, Rich. 2 putts turn into 3, 4.
Frank, at this stage of the championship, you cannot afford bogeys.
That's right. Now there's an even bigger gap between where they stand and the top of the leaderboard.
Now another short par 4. It's only 389 yards. But, Frank, where could a player go off course, so to speak, at this 14th?
Well, this is a hole where you have to play your own game. If you're a longer hitter, I think you can challenge that bunker and knock it over there. And if you're a shorter player, you should be only looking at that left side. You're always going to feel like you've left something out there on a hole like this. You always think you could have done the other option. But this is where you've got to stick to what you think is your game plan. There's a big green, and they're going to use every inch of it.
Coming out of the rough and right up next to the hole. Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. You can see why this player has been compared to a young Rory McIlroy, featured golfer making birdie and now sitting comfortably inside that cut line. Well, Frank, we are turning home. It says so on the scorecard here at 15.
It is, and once again, another example of great bunkering by Pete Dye. Bunkers on a lot of golf courses are just simply left and right, but what Pete Dye does, he lets them cut in, especially that one down the left side of the fairway, it cuts in, so it has to be avoided, and it's going to be about 280 yards to take it completely out of play. That's probably the best line, is to get it just past that last bunker on the left side.
Superb shot.
Well, it's as good as it's going to get. There's going to be no worries about making that one.
Good chance here. Currently at 5 under par. Goes to 6 under par for the tournament. What a display of golf. Well, Frank, round 1 in the books. Look who's on top of the leaderboard.
And that's with some strong play today. They don't really need to look back. Strong play heading into the second round tomorrow.
This is EA Sports. PGA Tour coverage coming up next. It's second round coverage of the California Classic. This requires a good swing, 200 yards to the hole location. Not looking good, Frank.
I think it's wet.
Just averted danger right there. So close.
Why does he have all the luck?
Little redemption chance here. Had bogey yesterday. In the hole for birdie. Well, Frank, kind of a make-or-break hole here at the 14th, par 4, 389 yards.
Yeah, for the Cavalier player, you can sort of go at this green in a more direct line. 290 yards will take all this bunker down the right out of play. Just leave you a flick in here. I'm going to say that's not a bad play, really. If you don't do that, then you just got to thread it down the left.
Second shot coming out of the rough here. Seems to like it. Headed for the fat part of the green. Good chance now for a birdie. That was an outstanding play.
Well, it's almost a guarantee there after that shot.
Putting up some impressive numbers out here now. 9 under for the tournament. Now to the par 4 15th hole, 468 yards. Frank, what do you like about number 15?
The variation of the bunkering here, Rich, I think is excellent. The bunker that meanders its way down the right side tends to go to the right, and then you start to see those two bunkers down the left side. You've really got to try and take that second one on the left out of play. That requires something in excess of 280 yards. From there on in, you've got a chance.
This one is definitely heading left. Looks like it is going to end up in the rough. You have to think he'll be happy with that, given that it looked like it was headed right for the rough.
Yeah, it looked like that was the only place it was going to finish. But, well, it's a little bit unexplainable. Let's see what he does from here now. Lucky break.
You love to watch him disappear, don't you? Par 5 16th is a slight dog-leg left at 600 yards. Now to the par 5 16th, Frank, this is a pretty solid hole.
Like all the other par 5s here, length gets a big advantage here. This hole, as you mentioned, bends to the left, and that bunker can be taken out of play by the longest hitters. 326 yards will get you past that. Otherwise, there's sort of a V shoot down the right side that everybody else has to respect.
Playing his second shot here at the par 5.
Well, that's the best that was going to be on the fringe.
Not too bad. What a shot right there. Beautifully done. This is the second par 5 at PGA West of 600 or more yards. The 16th is a pretty good test.
Oh, this is right at it.
Well, that is an exceptional shot on the green and in position for a birdie.
Yeah, it's a formality now.
This for another birdie on this hole on the week. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Well, here we are at 18. It's a par 4, only 439 yards, but again, we've said it all day long, water to deal with.
It's a great driving hole here, Rich. You don't necessarily have to hit driver. There's three groups of bunkers that are really in play off the tee shot. It's the one in the middle. It's around 290 yards. That's the one you really have to focus on. For stronger players, there's nothing wrong with hitting 3-wood off the tee there. You're still only going to have a shot of 150, 160 yards. Whichever way you look at it, it's something that you think you can find the fairway with. Oh, solid strike right in the heart of the green.
I mean, that's how the game is played, right there.
Oh, he's just making it look so easy. That birdie coming up, formality.
See if he can go one better than yesterday when he made par. This putt for birdie. Continues to amaze. Yet another birdie, and what a day it's been. So all the scores have been posted for round number 2, and look who is on top of the leaderboard, Frank.
Yeah, with two very solid rounds of golf. Key right now, just stay out of your own way and keep it up. The pressure will start to build. We know that as you get closer to the end of this tournament.
Coverage coming your way is presented by EA Sports and the PGA Tour. Today it's live third round coverage of the California Classic. Frank, a long par 3 here at the 6th, 255 yards. Club selection obviously is crucial.
Yeah, and length is very important here. Something that can fly high and land soft is obviously going to make that green play a little bit bigger. If you get a breeze off the right or left to right into, this hole becomes very challenging. That just came out blazing. As soon as it hit the green, it was never going to stop.
Frank, what's the best way to get at the golf ball when it's sitting down just a bit in the rough?
You have to accept the fact first and foremost that you're not going to get clean contact. So you have to decide whether the ball's going to come out short or it's going to fly. Because very rarely will it come out the normal distance of what you hit on the fairway. So if it's a little thin and wispy, chances are it might fly. If it's nestled down, you're going to have to take at least another club. If you hit enough shots, every now and again, one's going to go in.
Crazy, crazy game. Frank, if you want to play this game at the highest level, and no doubt our players do, you have to sort of be tactical. When you break down shots or break down a hole, how would you break down this hole in a very smart way?
Yeah, I know what you're getting at there. A lot of people would think 350 yards, you could bash a driver down there, you'd finish up in trouble. Well, the way to be aggressive on a strategic hole is to just put the first one in play in a position where you can attack with the second. And there's no shame in that. You can still walk off here more days than often than not with a 3.
Frank, you've played in conditions all over the world. Here come the winds now. What's the mindset?
Well, this is really what separates the men from the boys. This is where you've got to tell yourself, and it's an advantage to you. Obviously, the scores will go up a little bit given the conditions, but once again, this is going to suit the stronger player today.
You like the old phrase, swing easy when it's breezy?
Definitely when you're hitting it into a head breeze, but if down breeze, tee it up a little bit, try and ride that wind some more.
Those are good numbers right there. 320, 320 yards. Just crushed it in the fairway.
Whoop, this is taken off on a weird line.
And it's going to be in the rough, it looks like. Big swing right there, and a great result, and now a chance for a big swing in momentum with an eagle coming up. But Frank, this is just an absolute bludgeoning right now. An eagle, and the lead widens. Frank, as we arrive here at the par 4 ninth, 452 yards, I hear players like you often say, I'm going to take it on. What do you mean by that, and how does it apply to this particular tee shot?
Well, you have options, obviously. One is to hit it down that right side, which is your best shot. The easy way is obviously to bail it out down the left side, but then you're almost giving into the hole, like you're accepting you're going to make bogey if you're lucky. So in the end, you're forced to go back to option A, which is actually to challenge the best shot you have, which is down the right side.
This is a good-looking shot. Just an incredible shot. That is a very makeable putt after a great approach. Well played. Now this for birdie came away with par in the previous round. That finds the bottom of the cup. We'll call that a birdie. Well, that was a nearly flawless performance on the front side, but Frank, we know it's an 18-hole game, isn't it?
That's right. Now's not the time to pat yourself on the back.
That's a good spot right there.
Center cut.
Frank, you tip your Hogan visor to this player because early on it appeared as though this one was headed way off the tracks.
Well, it was. And to stop the round and turn it back and now look like he's playing even better than ever. It took some doing.
That will be a great look at birdie. Settles in over the putt. Right in the heart. Now at the long par 5 11. They call it eternity with good reason. It is 617 yards. Frank, what's the game plan here?
Hit it as long as you can, hopefully only a couple of times, and you can get fairly close to this green, little pitch up there. But even if you go for this green or try and get close, that's when you start to notice the water that comes in on the left side. So you can't just bash away. Might only be a couple of bunkers in play off the tee, but they have to be avoided.
Second shot coming up here at the par 5.
That's an absolute beauty.
Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
that is classy.
What a chance of going in.
This for birdie. And drops it in. Frank, that front page of the leaderboard has been looking good all week.
You're exactly right, Rich. I think our winner is certainly going to come from that list right now. I'm excited for tomorrow's final round.
Presented by EA Sports and the PGA Tour. Golf Channel on NBC and EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly present the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today it's live final round coverage of the California Classic.
Surely not.
He's making the game look very simple right now. See it, hit it, and he's got it right on track.
Oh, chance for birdie.
Oh yeah, he's made it for a birdie. Well, Frank, kind of a make-or-break hole here at the 14th, par 4, 389 yards.
Yeah, for the Cavalier player, you can sort of go at this green in a more direct line. 290 yards will take all this bunker down the right out of play. Just leave you a flick in here. I'm going to say that's not a bad play, really. If you don't do that, then you just got to thread it down the left.
Moving into this second shot here at hole number 14.
This looks like it's going to find the target.
That's well played. Places it about 10 feet out for birdie. Locked in on the read and the speed. Good putt. Well, Frank, we are turning home. It says so on the scorecard here at 15.
It is, and once again, another example of great bunkering by Pete Dye. Bunkers on a lot of golf courses are just simply left and right, but what Pete Dye does, he lets them cut in, especially that one down the left side of the fairway it cuts in, so it has to be avoided, and it's going to be about 280 yards to take it completely out of play. That's probably the best line, is to get it just past that last bunker on the left side.
Wow, Frank, he is dialed in.
Yeah, that was just some shot on that. Easy birdie.
Made a par in his previous round. This time, it's for birdie. Stroked that with authority. Here we go now, the final par 5 of the day, Frank.
Yeah, decision on how much you bite off here. If you play the ball to the right, then it's going to play its full 600 yards. But if you can take it in a direct line at that green, you're going to chew off a little bit of yardage. But you have to be able to carry that bunker.
And through the years, a lot of excitement here at this par 5 16. And now the second shot here at this par 5. Uh-oh, this one's going left, Frank. You have to think he'll be happy with that, given that it looked like it was headed right for the rough.
Yeah, it looked like that was the only place it was going to finish. But, well, it's a little bit unexplainable. Let's see what he does from here now. Lucky break.
Just slides by.
Yeah, can't afford to miss too many of those out here today.
Coming off a bogey here yesterday, chance to make it right. And he has it for birdie. Well, well, well. Here we are at the famous Alcatraz.
Well, there's a big green, and they're going to use every inch of it.
Oh, just a superb shot.
You're not going to see much better than that all day today.
Birdie here yesterday, trying to do it again today. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Well, here we are at 18. It's a par 4, only 439 yards. But again, we've said it all day long. Water to deal with.
It's a great driving hole here, Rich. You don't necessarily have to hit driver. There's three groups of bunkers that are really in play off the tee shot. It's the one in the middle. It's around 290 yards. That's the one you really have to focus on. For stronger players, there's nothing wrong with hitting 3-wood off the tee there. You're still only going to have a shot of 150, 160 yards. Whichever way you look at it, it's something that you think you can find the fairway with.
Terrific golf shot. And now that for an easy birdie. Good chance here. Currently at 5 under par.
Well, that was a tricky one, but it's in.
That's why you play the game, to stack up the wins. Great effort right there. EA Sports and the PGA Tour proudly present the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live opening round coverage of the Tiburon Championship. Today, we're here at Wolf Creek Golf Club in Mesquite, Nevada. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo for EA Sports, set to bring you all the action out on the course. And Frank, what can you tell us about Wolf Creek?
Well, it's a mesmerizing layout. You can see from above, Rich, in amongst all these sort of canyon areas and boulders and that. I've never really seen a golf course like this. It's like Disneyland for the golfers. It's phenomenal, and each hole has a totally different look. It's hard to imagine you can build a golf course in an area like this.
We're off and running here, and let's take you down to the action at hole number 1. Getting ready to get the tournament started. Frank, first tee jitters?
Oh, everybody gets them. That's the beauty of it. If you don't, you shouldn't be playing this game. Just try and think nice and slow. That's beyond long.
That is a sensational play right there, and you have to think that a little helping breeze gave that a nice boost.
It can't be that good.
Frank, what does the shot into this first green look like?
Well, it's back a little bit up the hill. Bunkers left and right, really the biggest concern, but a well-flighted shot to this 3-level green will be well rewarded.
That is an excellent play right there. The approach, giving him another good look. Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. A -2 early in the round. Frank, you need to be a bit of a rock climber just to get to this second tee. 445-yard hole. What a view. Look, everybody wants to post a good low number, but a good score at Wolf Creek is really relative because this is a true desert canyon golf course. It is rated as the 3rd hardest golf course in America by the United States Golf Association.
Yeah, that's the slope rating that you're referring to. It has a slope rating of 154, which sort of measures in all the undulations. So, needless to say, you don't get too many flat putts or actually, relatively flat shots either here at Wolf Creek, but the thing about it, the golf course isn't overly long, and it sort of fits in with the terrain. How could you come to the desert with all these changes in elevation and expect to play flat golf?
Another good swing, and it looks like, Frank, another really good shot. So on the putting surface, and taking a good look now at this birdie putt here at the second.
It's at sneaky distance.
Well, that would have been a bonus had it gone in, but still, reasonable chance for par here.
Yeah, there's no damage. You're not going to birdie every hole.
Wow, that was so close, Frank.
Just time to forget that one. I mean, you couldn't hit that much better.
So, they'll tap in. Takes him to 1 under on the day. All right, Frank, describe the 3rd hole.
Well, it's a par 3 with a bit of a tabletop green, Rich. Some bunkers right and left of that, but also it's going to play a little bit further. This tee shot is uphill, unlike the opening 2 holes. So a 3 here, and that certainly won't hurt the scorecard. And this is not heading in the right direction.
No, it looks like it's going to be in the rough.
Oh, that's off the beaten track. That's got 5 minutes to find it.
Second shot coming out of the rough here. Frank, not close, but from that lie, not bad.
Oh, that's excellent. Seriously, given the conditions, Rich.
Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. Well, that's disappointing. He misses the par putt, and he'll have this for bogey. Shouldn't be a problem here, but not a formality either. Well, you're not going to make that putt all the time, but you'd like to at least get it to the hole.
If he keeps putting like that, he's going to be an announcer in no time.
2-1 over par early on in this round. We have already begun. Let's pick up with the action at hole number 4. With a key stretch of holes ahead, our featured golfer really has struggled in the early going, Frank.
Yeah, a few mistakes out there, unforced errors you might want to say, so really attention to detail should be the concern right now.
Nice long tee shot there and a good lie, Frank. Now the approach here at the 4th, Frank.
Just a short iron really is all that's required across this green. You can see it has a raised front, but this is more like trying to parachute a shot onto the green there. And should really be looking at a birdie opportunity there. Not much wind. Remember, you're playing in the thin air, so just judging that distance.
Well, that is an exceptional shot on the green and in position for a birdie.
Yeah, it's a formality now.
Good work there. Now to even par. How about this hole, Frank? Par 5, 5th.
If you stand on this tee for the first time, you've got virtually no idea where you've got to aim. Do you aim it left of those bunkers? Do you aim it over the sort of the canyon? Really, the answer is how far do you hit it, because that is going to determine the line that you hit it on. Avoid the water, that little stream. You can always have a drink on the way if you want to, I guess. Second shot plays uphill, but this is a relatively short par 5, so very reachable. But you're going to see, you've got to flight that second shot. You want to make sure that ball's coming in nice and high to this green that's perched up. This looks like it's going to find the target.
That was a big, bold strike, and now a chance for a big, bold move. Putt for eagle coming up. Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. Frank, that's what you want to do. Good lag putt.
Yeah, they can't all go in.
Frank, this would be a nice way to jumpstart the round.
Yeah, his momentum can quickly go in the right direction if he makes this.
Well, there's an opportunity wasted.
Just knock it in for a par, and let's forget about this one. Golf is not about perfect, but it's going to hurt the cook.
Well, not in contention, but in for par. Here at the 6th, 447-yard par 4. Pretty good hole, Frank.
Yeah, probably a layup hole, too, for the longer hitters. Something out there around the 280, 290-yard mark to make sure you don't go it in the stream. Obviously, it's a dogleg right, as you can see. The canyon on both sides is sort of well-defined, so you know where not to go. Second shot plays a little bit back up the hill to a green, once again, that's anything other than flat. It's fun. You've got to make sure you get that ball on the right tier if you want to have a birdie putt here.
Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
That is classy.
Well, a chance of going in.
Who knows? It is a 4-round tournament, setting himself up for a good weekend, maybe a great one. The young star makes his birdie. EA Sports and the PGA Tour proudly present the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live second-round coverage of the Tiburon Championship. Frank, it's just amazing what can be done today. Where you can build golf courses. On the moon? I mean, that's what this looks like here at Wolf Creek in Mesquite, Nevada.
And obviously it's an experience, too, that has to be played before you can thoroughly enjoy it. Because you just wouldn't think this is possible. If someone said you can come out to the middle of the desert and you're going to play a phenomenal golf course, you'd say it's not possible. But as these holes intertwine around in the canyon area, just wonderful vistas, huge changes in elevations. Really, it's just a fun adventure.
Nicely played shot, about 310 yards down the fairway. Good chance to make birdie here, Frank, as we get set for the approach here at the fourth hole.
The fourth green, as you can see, is set in a little bit of a bowl with that backdrop behind it. Really the biggest problem is if you come up short that false front, it does feed off the right and the left side there. So, shot not quite hit as well as you would like, can still kick towards the flag.
Appears to be what they call a commercial play. Very solid. Good chance now for a birdie. That was an outstanding play.
Well, it's almost a guarantee there after that shot.
Trying to make yet another birdie.
Well, sneaking into contention here with that birdie.
Top 15 now on the leaderboard. Now to the par 5 fifth hole. Cut it over the ridge here, Frank?
Well, if you can, if you dare. And there is actually a stream here. I know we're in the middle of a desert, but if you can clear that stream, that's the main thing. This is a crazy-looking tee shot because it looks like you want to go down that left, down that canyon area, but if you don't know the exact distance you fly the ball, then you're going to be in lots and lots of problems. Those collection of 3 bunkers down the right side, as long as you can avoid that, then that second shot to this par 5, that's not overly long, it's just under 500 yards, is certainly reachable. Second shot will play uphill to a elevated green with, once again, 3 different levels.
Can't hide the flagstick from that man. You don't want to let this one get away. This is about... Well, Frank, that changes the outlook, doesn't it?
Yeah, from the middle of nowhere. Actually, we'd really forgotten about him on the leaderboard. Now in the top 15. Big move.
Frank, here at the 6th, where are you looking to land the ball off the tee?
Got to be careful here for the longer hitters, Rich. Driver actually might be too much. That stream that we just saw at the par 5 fifth hole, it also comes across here. So something that lands short of that, which is in the vicinity of 280, 290 yards. That's the key. From there, well, you're not going to have too much more in, sort of 140, 150 yards in. It is a dogleg right, but find that fairway there. Second shot played just a fraction uphill. And this green, well, it's got more humps and hollows in it. It's to be expected, though. This course is absolutely crazy.
On the green, and a chance for birdie. Made a par in his previous round. This time, it's for birdie. You couldn't ask for much more than that, except to make it. Just a couple of feet. In for par. Well, everybody loves the short par 4, and here we have one, Frank, just 302 yards, the 7th hole.
And this hole is anything other than straightforward, Rich. Huge drop-off at the front of the screen that is surrounded by water. So it's going to be a layup off the tee, really, to try and get the right yardage. This green is very, it's not very deep, but it's extremely wide. The hardest thing is to try and get a flat lie with whatever club you decide to hit off the tee and get the right yardage. Otherwise, that green actually might be a little elusive, even though this is a very short hole.
Well, he gave us a demonstration today why he's one of the best in the sport. Every green hit in regulation. Goes to 6 under par for the tournament. What a display of golf. So that is a top 10 performance through 2 rounds, Frank.
It's always nice to know that you have a shot with 2 rounds left in the tournament.
EA Sports and the PGA Tour proudly present the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live third-round coverage of the Tiburon Championship. Thirteenth hole, and Frank, Wolf Creek is really kind of a macho golf course because you can stand on a tee like this and say, you know what, I'm going to take this one over the mountains.
And then, if you do, then you flip the coin. Is it in play or is it out of play? This is one hole. You realize you're in the middle of the desert, that's for sure. And one hole that you think, if I play this hole a couple of times, I might just get the hang of it.
Frank, how rare would this be if this putt drops?
Well, this is I'd like to say once in a lifetime, but on the odd occasion we do see back-to-back eagles, but it certainly is something to watch.
Birdie putt coming up. Had a par on this hole yesterday. Frank, that birdie will help the cause. 14th hole here at Wolf Creek. Time to pull out the driver and as well the foam because you want to take some pictures here. What a spectacular view.
Stunning. You can see a whole panoramic sort of 360 degrees right around this golf course. Then when you flick back and actually look at the 14th hole, there's 6 bunkers, 3 really in play with the tee shot, as you can see, the other 3 just up by the green. Anything to the right of those is preferred, unless you want to be playing your second shot out of the canyon or the bunkers. Green should be fairly receptive, and 3 distinct portions, which is sort of a common trait here at Wolf Creek. That's sort of 3 different tier levels and that. But let's see, birdies that have been made at Wolf Creek, maybe even one here.
Another good swing, and it looks like, Frank, another really good shot. Wow, Frank, he is dialed in.
Yeah, that was just some shot on there. Easy birdie. Well, birdies are hard to come by in this situation. So tight.
Keeps him right in the thick of it. Here at the 15th hole here at Wolf Creek, bit of a breather here. Nice, short par 3. You don't want to miss this green.
No, that's the temptation there. If you try and bite off a little too much because it looks a little too easy, then a bogey here and you're in a bad mood all of a sudden at Wolf Creek.
What a display of shot making this has been, Frank.
Oh, that incredible approach shot there. The easiest of birdies coming up.
Just a tap in to finish the hole. Everybody loves him. Birdie on the card. Short par 4, 16th hole, measures only 393 yards. But Frank, as is the case with pretty much every hole, despite the yardage, there's plenty of trouble.
It does. It plays tricks on the mind's eye here. It looks like it's a dog leg going one way then back the other way. But really it's built as a straight hole just across the canyon. And that's the way you've got to play it. I don't think you can drive the green, even the longest hitters at 393 yards. But just a nice drive down there. Take the bunkers on, get it past there. And before you know it, you've got a little wedge in here. And it should sit up nicely for a birdie.
Beautiful shot. That is tight.
Unbelievable. That is one to savor for the rest of the round.
Made par yesterday. This one for birdie. Good roll. Now to the 16th hole, and Frank, another good scoring chance.
If you can avoid the confusion off the tee, it looks like the hole might be a dog leg, then is it a carry? It meanders from one way to the other, but really when you actually break the hole down, it's virtually straight ahead. Those 2 bunkers in the driving distance, they frame the hole nicely, so play it as a straightaway par 4. It should set up beautifully for just a little short iron and perhaps a birdie opportunity.
Always makes the hole easier, playing it from the fairway. This could be a huge momentum swing here, Frank.
Yeah, one more good swing, and he's going to have an eagle putt coming up. I know you don't want to get ahead of yourself, but it is well on the cards.
Good-looking shot right here. Frank, that is how it's done.
Yeah, take a gross of those. That is a lesson in itself.
And now a chance for eagle. Locked in on the read and the speed. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Now the closing hole here at Wolf Creek. Frank, what's ahead of us?
You could try and drive at this green, but there's too much trouble, really, Rich. Even though this hole's just over 300 yards, it's very ambitious to try and drive it across that water. Some might try. Most people try and hit a tee shot 240, 250 yard mark, and of course, you do the maths, you're only going to have 60 or 70 yards in, and well, they want you to finish on a good note. So good drive in the fairway here, or 3-wood, pitch it on the green, make a 3, and buy your friends a drink in the clubhouse.
That's how the best in the world play it, Frank.
Well, it's a little lucky that it went in, but it was always going to be close.
Frank, in golf, there's nothing quite like the final round of a hotly contested championship, and this one could be a doozy.
And there's nothing quite like that leaderboard I'm looking at right now. We are going to have some amazing golf. This one is going to have to be won.
EA Sports and the PGA Tour proudly present the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live final round coverage of the Tiburon Championship. This is Rich Lerner alongside my colleague Frank Novelo for EA Sports, calling all the action for today's event. We are here at Wolf Creek Golf Club. It's located in Mesquite, Nevada. Frank, if I didn't know that it was Mesquite, Nevada, I think we landed on the moon and they built the golf course here. This is just mind-boggling.
Yeah, 100 years ago, you couldn't build a golf course like this here. Obviously, all the equipment needed, but in the end, it's wonderful. It's an absolute playground for anyone that sort of loves to play the game. It is desert golf, obviously because of the terrain, but the green oasis that cuts in between is each hole. It just sort of gives you a totally different experience because you keep having to remind yourself you are smack bang in the middle of the desert. Should be safely on deck.
Well, that is an exceptional shot on the green and in position for a birdie.
Yeah, it's a formality now.
This for another birdie on this hole on the week. Oh, yeah, he's made it for a birdie. Now to the par 3 15th hole here at Wolf Creek. Frank, this is the shortest hole on the course.
And their version of a postage stamp type hole, minus the bunkers on the right side. Green elevated, falls off as you can see down the left side. Club selection is vital, but it is such a short hole. It's very, very tempting, especially when that flag's on the left side, to still go at it. But you miss this green on the left, and you are going to be considerably lower than the level of this green.
Superb shot.
It's as good as it's going to get. There's going to be no worries about making that one.
And he has it.
A good putt redeems all.
Now to the 16th hole as we get set for the finishing stretch. And Frank, what's the best way to play this relatively short par 4?
Somehow you've got to straighten the hole up in your mind's eye, Rich. Just look all the way across that canyon and look like the hole was built straight, because really that's the way it should be played. If you start looking left and turning it into a dog leg, then all of a sudden bad things can happen. So look straight at the green. That's your line. Just try and bisect those 2 fairway bunkers.
Looking to splash this softly onto the green. It's in the hole. Just a sensational shot right there. From a short par 3 to a short par 4. Just 393 yards here at the 16th, Frank.
And when you stand on this tee, this hole looks anything other than straight. Goes to the left and comes back to the right. But if you can just fixate at the green in the distance, you're actually going to look like a relatively straight par 4. And that's the way the hole should be played. Look at those first 2 bunkers that you see and just try and split those. Good tee shot here and nothing more than a wedge left into this green. Simplify it. That's the key.
So that sets up a tougher second shot, missing the fairway with the drive, now in the rough. It's a 180-yard shot, his second. This one has a chance to be close. Frank, not close, but from that line, not bad.
Oh, that's excellent. Seriously, given the conditions, Rich.
Frank, it's one thing to jumpstart your round. This would ignite the round.
Yeah, you don't normally see 2 par 5s back-to-back, so the chances of having consecutive eagles is so rare. Oh, now that is going to hurt.
Trying to make yet another birdie. Continues to amaze, yet another birdie, and what a day it's been. Finishing hole here at Wolf Creek is only 307 yards. Frank, where's the trouble here?
Short and to the right of this par 4. Really, there's a multitude of options off this tee. You could hit an iron, you could hit a fairway wood. Even some might try and hit a driver, but that's a little too risky. There's too many problems up ahead if you try and take this hole on. Really a short club off the tee, leaving yourself some area of 100, 70 yards, and you're going to be putting for birdie more often than not.
So that was probably a makeable putt, but everything had to be right. The speed and the read didn't quite have it dialed in on line there to win the Tiburon Championship. And he has it for birdie. What a great tournament finish. This one is in the books, and look who finished on top of the leaderboard.
Rich, this has to go down as a classic. Our champion was simply on fire. And I'm looking forward now to see how next week pans out.